Thank you for joining me for today's video, Learning ROI, Where the True Value Lies. ROI, or return on investment, for training and learning has been a hot topic over the recent years, with HR and learning professionals really wanting to show the value that learning and training is making to their organisations. The Kirkpatrick's ROI model, built on by Jack and Patty Phillips, gives us a framework for calculating the true value of the ROI of learning. But it is a costly and time-consuming process, which leaves many only evaluating the reactions of participants after an event rather than the actual change that occurs back in the workplace. This is a problem. I believe there are three fundamental problems with the way that ROI is currently tackled and thought about within today's organisations. And until this is addressed, I think ROI will continue to elude us. In this video, I'll be looking at the misconceptions that are around ROI and what you can do as a learning professional to truly unlock the value of your training. Firstly, let's consider the evaluation point of the training program. All too often, the training is evaluated at the end of a 1-day, 2-day or 3-day event, and the reactions are captured to the program. But at this point, it's not where we will even know whether the behavioural change has taken place, and we won't be assessing what people are doing in the workplace. That's where the finish line really needs to be, at least 2 months out from the actual program, where we can observe what are the changes that have happened. This is one of the fundamental problems. And in fact, even if the learning is evaluated after the event, it's often done so in the form of a quiz or a written report, checking whether people actually know what they are meant to have learnt. In today's organisations, we have intelligent people, and knowing what they have learnt is not an issue. Doing what they know is where the problem lies. The key is to evaluate whether successful behavioural change is observed, not just whether the content is known. Hold that thought in your mind and think, what is it that people really want when they are evaluating the ROI of learning? Typically, it's either to demonstrate that the money on the program has been worthwhile, to demonstrate the success of the program to the business, to calculate whether the money invested in the program was worthwhile, and to show measurable results from the learning or training. Too often, though, the business is actually removed from the learning intervention and needs to be brought up to speed. However, back to our initial point, if the organisation and the managers were in it were observing consistent behavioural change after the learning or the training, then the ROI wouldn't be such an issue. I liken it to trying to lose the last 5 kilos in weight. It's a broad generalisation, but probably true that the last 5 kilos are the hardest to lose. And I think in a way we can consider this in terms of the behavioural change when someone comes back from training. Unless they're grossly underperforming in their role or grossly overweight, it is going to be smaller changes that create an impact and lose those last 5 kilos rather than changes that are easily seen and easily observed and can't be missed. So it's these small but consistent tweaks and changes of behaviour that will effectively shed those last 5 kilos for people and take them to the next level. It's the transfer of learning back to the workplace that managers and individuals want to see way more than they want to know the specific ROI. And when it comes down to the last 5 kilos, I really challenge you to think whether it's observed change that people want to see or whether it's specific measurement that they need to know. Think about those last 5 kilos and think about the way the jeans fit better, the person looks more energetic, more lively. Does it matter whether they've lost 3.5, 2.5 or 4.5 kilograms? The point is they're changing and they're making changes. And I think this way of observing the changes is what we need to get to with ROI. It is possible to get to a figure for ROI, and I suggest if you haven't already done so and you're really keen to investigate this further, look at the work of Jack and Patty Phillips. I would urge you though to consider using the telephone to do your interviews, as it's by far the cheapest and easiest way to gather the data. What I really encourage you to do is to get your learning transfer piece in place. This is what the managers within the organisation want to see. They want to see the change in the employee, and when they can physically see the change, they will be less worried about the specific figures and analysis as to what the ROI has actually brought them in terms of money. So for more detailed information about learning transfer, take a look at some of my other videos. Make sure that you've signed up at the Lever Learning homepage to be kept in the conversation about transfer of learning issues and the hottest topics surrounding learning. That's at www.leverlearning.com. I look forward to hearing from you and remaining in conversation.